The HOA board had a habit of ridiculing anything that didn't feel modern enough for their glossy newsletters. So when they toured the neighborhood for tech compliance, they laughed openly at Mr. Walter. Green's landline phone. It sat on a small table by his front window, beige and corded. A relic in a community pushing smart homes and app-based everything. Who even uses those anymore? One board member joked, scribbling notes. Another suggested that landlines lowered the neighborhood image. Walter, a quiet man in his late 70s, simply nodded and said nothing. He'd lived on that block longer than the HOA itself, long enough to know that arguing with people who enjoyed mockery was rarely worth the breath. Weeks later, the HOA sent a letter recommending residents upgrade obsolete communication devices. Walter folded it carefully and placed it under the phone. He kept the landline for one reason: reliability. During storms, when cell towers blinked out and Wi-Fi faltered, that phone always had a dial tone. Late one summer night, a violent storm tore through the area. Wind screamed between houses, transformers popped, and the entire block went dark. Cell service vanished almost immediately. Families stepped onto porches, holding useless smartphones, watching the rain hammer the street. Then came the smell of gas. A ruptured underground line near the corner house began leaking. Invisible and deadly. People panicked, but with no service, emergency calls wouldn't connect. The HOA president tried repeatedly, pacing in the rain, shouting at her phone as if volume could summon a signal. Walter felt the pressure change in the air and recognized the smell instantly. He moved to his landline, lifted the receiver, and dialed 911. The line was crystal clear. Within minutes, sirens cut through the storm. Fire trucks sealed off the street, evacuated homes, and shut down the gas before a single spark could turn the block into headlines. Residents stood barefoot on lawns, shaken but unharmed, watching professionals do what they'd been helpless to start. When the rain eased and power slowly returned, the mood shifted. Neighbors thanked Walter quietly at first, then loudly. The HOA board gathered the next week, noticeably humbled. No one mentioned obsolete devices. Instead, a new recommendation appeared in the newsletter. Residents were encouraged to maintain at least one non-digital emergency communication option. Walter didn't say, "I told you so." He just went back to his chair by the window. The landline resting where it always had, unimpressive, unfashionable, and powerful enough to save an entire block when everything else failed.